All right, so we're just going to jump right into the nitty gritty. No introduction needed. Does this film live up to the hype? Is it an acceptable sequel? Although it was 36 years ago, given the plot that this story is trying to say and give to the audience, I think it is. But it does start off pretty slow in the first like 35 minutes. This thing drags, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm like, where's this stuff leading to? But it redeems itself because the main plot is Lydia's daughter gets manipulated by this guy that she met into sacrificing her life for his afterlife. So they end up, the whole movie is trying to get Lydia, the whole main story is Lydia's daughter trying to get her life back. And I thought that's when the movie really started to pick up with me because the 35 minute was just a drag. But I appreciate Tim Burton for the way he executed that because when the daughter crashes into the fence with her bike and she crashes into the tree, this is like this grown ass man in a treehouse, and I'm thinking to myself like, why is this guy in a treehouse? And then she was like, well, I hope your parents don't say anything about the fence. And he was like, oh, no, they're not going to say anything. So I like the way Tim Burton kept the audience guessing because I'm like, well, how they going to miss that? She crashed into their fence. But you notice when she goes in the house on Halloween, their parents is actually dead. And she's the only one can see them. So when she's getting introduced, they say hi to her, but they don't show their face. You know, make the long story short, her boyfriend ended up killing his parents, and he manipulated Lydia's daughter into sacrificing her life so he can return back to the real world. But I thought everything was rushed though. That third act was really rushed. The way they flushed that story out. You know, Beetlejuice not stamping his passport. I thought it was just really rushed. But overall, I did enjoy the film. Winona Ryder, however, she didn't really stand out in this movie. Like her mom stood out the most, and it seemed like Winona Ryder was just there for the check. She wasn't in character. She didn't try to get in character, and she sounded very old. Now, I don't know if it's because of her age, but her dialogue, her voice is raspy. It sounds old. It sounds like the lady that she played in there with Scissorhands at the end, or at the beginning and the end when she's talking to her grandmama. Well, when she's talking to her granddaughter, you know. So if you guys didn't know, that was Winona Ryder as that old lady in Edward Scissorhands talking to her granddaughter. But she sounded like that old lady. I'm like, why does she sound like that? Why does she sound like that? Even my friend was like, why does she sound like that? But I don't know if they were doing that on purpose, but her voice sounded very old and raspy. And I know she's older also. Maybe that's just her natural voice now. But back when she was playing Edward Scissorhands, she was acting that way. So I don't know what was going on with her. But she didn't stand out in this movie. She did have the same look and feel. And that's why I appreciate Tim Burton because he gave off the same look, the same chemistry, and the same tone vibes as the first film. To me, this film wasn't scary enough. It didn't have a lot of scary horror elements like the first one had. And I think that was a big missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity is I think this movie should have just came out during the Halloween week. It probably would do better at the box office. But overall, the practical effects was really cool, and it really gave the same vibe and feel, especially on the guys with the little heads. I like that. It reminded me of the first, but I didn't like there was so many of them, you know, because I believe in the first there was just one. But, you know, it is what it is. But I do like the character. The sandworms was hit and miss. They wasn't really they had the same screen time like they had in the first film, so I'm just glad they was there. They didn't overstuff the movie with them like I thought they would have. But I do enjoy the new characters like Danny DeVito character, which really didn't do anything. Beetlejuice fiance, I wish they would have gave her some type of motivation, because there wasn't really no motivation why she was just killing people, for Beetlejuice. Didn't really. I know they did like a flashback, but maybe I missed something. But overall, her look, her fit, it gave out horror elements, a Tim Burton vibe feel. But the new character that I enjoyed the most was Baby Beetlejuice. Yeah, Baby Beetlejuice is in this film. Beetlejuice does have a baby, but Baby Beetlejuice isn't in the film enough. But when the two times he's on film, he stole the show for me. I wish they would have just carried him through the movie. I think that would have engaged the audience better. But I definitely enjoyed Baby Beetlejuice for the time he was on screen. If they do a third movie, hopefully we'll get more of him. But this is an overall disrespect to women. And I get what Grace Randolph was talking about. If you see what was going on in the movie from a sociological perspective, this is a total slap in the face to women, especially white women. They paint white women as being stupid and dumb, and not. This was really a disrespect towards women, which I think was purposely done for whatever agenda they're trying to push in this film. Another thing I didn't like with Tim Burton was the attic. I wish they would have made the attic look more like the one that we had in the first film to give some type of nostalgia, because this attic felt very bold and plain. Even the model didn't. It was just a little model, the model where Beetlejuice lives in. It wasn't big. It was just a little piece. It was a little model. So I didn't like that. They didn't even try to imitate the real model. I just wish that was just a. I just wish they would have just tried to make it look the same, But I get it. They had deadlines. But this movie really felt very rushed. But to me, it was acceptable. It gave off Tim Burton vibes. I believe if he would have just took his time and focused more on a main plot instead of all these plots, I think the story would really live up to the hype of the first. But it is an acceptable sequel in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. I thought the actors did a good job, except for Winona Ryder. She sucked, but it was good seeing her. So overall, I will buy this movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. I wish it would have came out a long time ago, but it is what it is. The plot is acceptable for me because of, the circumstances of what was going on in the movie. But overall, this is an acceptable sequel. If you're a Beetlejuice fan, take your family to go see it. Tell them Harsh Critics sent you. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace.